Second round of the Pro Mains Formula Open New Zealand at the beautiful Taupo International Motorsport Park. Looking forward to some good racing. We've got 15 cars at the moment. The Graham Lawrence Cup, that's the class we've seen have the most cars in at the moment. We've got a lot of Formula Atlantics have come out of the woodwork. Currently we've got 7 of them here this weekend. Ken hasn't quite got his one ready yet, but I think you're hoping to have it ready by Pukekohe, aren't you, Ken?
Yes. Yeah.
FT50s are proving not to be quite as quick with the Atlantics as we thought they were going to be. So James Watson's absolutely flying at the front, but there's great battles all the way through the field. The FT40s, we've only got 2 of them here this weekend, but we should have about 4 or 5 of them by the time we get to Ruapuna.
I've been struggling a little bit. Well, my injuries a year ago are still telling on me in these cars because they're pretty stiff and rigid, but I've got to, when you're running around with someone, you can blank that out and just look at the back of them and work on them instead of worrying about your injuries. It's quite exciting. It's a good track, but it's hard work around here, and you've got to get everything going right for you. Driving these cars, it's closer to getting into an FT60, the Toyota series, and you can't expect them to leap out of something at a very minor class because they won't be competitive when they get into a FT60. They've got to start and work their way up. I mean, Formula Ford's a very important class, and so is this class. And I'd say by next year, I reckon we'll have 25 cars on the grid every meeting.
Consider the quality of drivers we've got in this series. I mean, the likes of Ken, obviously, but then you go through the back and you look at, we've got Sam McNeil, 2009 TRS runner-up.
James has had the pace on us in the Atlantic, which, I mean, he's quick, but Taupo is definitely a good track for the Atlantic as well. But yes, the cars felt really nice. I felt like I've been driving okay.
Daddy, do you like racing?
Yes, I have lots of fun, and when I was driving out of the pit, I got in trouble after the first race because I didn't see my daughter, but it was a good sign. There was so many people in the stand that she had to go to a different spot.
You've got young Josh Andrews. He's quick.
First time with this car at a track I've been to before, so just using my knowledge from the last season running Formula Ford here. Yeah, so just had a baseline to go off, had an idea of whether, how the car should feel and what the track was like. So it's been really cool to jump into a nice competitive car like this.
Young Ethan Sille turned up with this Reynard 93H, which is a hell of a quick car, and he was going fast.
So we used to have a Formula Ford 2000, and so this does pretty much everything better. It goes forward better, stops better, goes around corners better. I think we'll just run it as it is and learn all the stuff that we have to learn with it, with setup and all the tracks that we go to.
It's the youngsters that are coming through, but the one I'm really looking forward to today is Caleb Natoa. Now, Caleb is, to those of you that know, he's a very, very talented driver, ex-Formula Ford champion, been racing for S5000s in Australia. He's got into a Formula Atlantic.
It's probably one of the best cars I've ever driven, so raw, and yeah, it's a 2-time New Zealand Grand Prix winner, so very lucky that they're allowing me to have a skid in it this weekend.
Tony Quinn, TQ, he's actually in another Reynard 93H. Yeah, and he went out yesterday and he got out the car and he was smiling and he'd enjoyed his days, and that's what it's all about.
The Achilles heel of the FD50 is that the Swift throws up a lot of dirty air. So as soon as we get in front, round those twisty bits, they just don't have the grip. But once Sam gets in front, it's another story. So the focus for the weekend was don't let Sam pass. It'll be a good weekend. I qualified first in 3 wins, can't do better on track, but the cherry on top was the beating my personal best and new class record of a 124.6.
Next one is Scope at Ruapuna, probably the biggest classic race meeting in the country. We should be looking at around about 18 to 20 cars on the grid down there. Ruapuna is a great track. It's one of your favourites, isn't it, Ken?
Yeah, it is. It's a good, interesting track. If you can get a car working around there, it's a driver's track.